Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to this special journey we're about to take together. Tonight, you're going to meet a young person just like you, someone who feels overwhelmed by all the noise and worry of the world. But something magical is waiting for them, and for you too. This isn't just a story, it's a gentle path toward peace. As you listen, imagine you're walking right alongside our main character, feeling what they feel, learning what they learn. Ancient wisdom is about to unfold in the simplest, most beautiful way. Before you get settled, please like this video and subscribe. I'd love to know where you're listening from and what time it is. Just drop a comment and let me know. It's always wonderful to see people from around the world joining us. Now turn down your lights, maybe switch off that fan or any background noise, and let's start this peaceful journey together. Take a deep, slow breath with me, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Perfect. Let your shoulders drop just a little. Good. Now, close your eyes and let's begin. Part 1. The Beginning. Chapter 1. The Restless Heart. Maya sits at her bedroom window, watching the world rush by outside. Cars speed down the street with their headlights cutting through the evening darkness. People hurry along the sidewalk, heads down, checking their phones. Everyone seems to know exactly where they're going, but Maya feels completely lost. Her mind won't stop spinning. It jumps from one worry to the next, like a monkey swinging from tree to tree. Did she say something wrong to her best friend Emma today? Will she remember everything for tomorrow's history test? Why does her little brother always seem so much happier than she does? And why, oh why does everything feel so hard lately? It's like having 10 different conversations happening in her head at the same time, all of them loud and none of them helpful. Maya pushes back from her desk where her homework sits half-finished. The math problems blur together on the page. She can't concentrate. She can't think straight. She can't even sit still. I wish my brain had an off switch, she whispers to her reflection in the window. That's when she remembers something her grandmother once told her. When your mind gets too noisy, dear one, sometimes you need to find a quiet place for it to rest. Maya's grandmother lives right next door in a cozy little house with blue shutters, and behind that house is a garden that Maya hasn't visited in years. When she was small, she used to love playing there among the roses and the old apple trees. Maybe some fresh air would help. She slips on her favorite worn sneakers and quietly opens the back door. The night air feels cool and soft against her face, smelling faintly of jasmine and something else. Something peaceful she can't quite name. Maya walks through the little gate that connects the two backyards. Her grandmother's garden spreads out before her, bathed in gentle moonlight. But something feels different tonight. The garden seems larger somehow, more mysterious. The shadows are softer. Even the crickets seem to be singing a gentler song. And there, beneath the old oak tree that she's climbed 100 times, sits something that definitely wasn't there before. A small stone statue of a person sitting very still. The figure wears simple robes and has its legs crossed peacefully. Its face carries the most serene smile Maya has ever seen. Not happy exactly, but deeply, quietly content. The statue looks old, very old, with soft moss growing along its shoulders like a gentle green shawl. Maya approaches slowly, drawn by something she can't explain. The closer she gets, the more peaceful she feels. It's as if the statue is surrounded by an invisible bubble of calm that grows stronger with each step. Without really deciding to, Maya sits down on the soft grass in front of the statue. She crosses her legs the same way the stone figure sits and rests her hands gently on her knees. For the first time all day, maybe all week, Maya's mind becomes quiet. Not empty exactly. She can still hear the night sounds around her. Crickets singing their ancient lullabies, a gentle breeze whispering secrets through the leaves, the distant sound of wind chimes from Mrs. Chen's porch next door. But these sounds don't feel noisy like the traffic and voices earlier. They feel like a soft, natural symphony. As Maya sits in this unexpected stillness, something extraordinary happens. She begins to hear another voice, not with her ears, but with her heart. It's warm as honey, gentle as her grandmother's lullabies, and wise as the oldest tree in the forest. "Hello, little seeker," the voice says. "You've been carrying such heavy thoughts for such a young heart." Maya's eyes flutter open, but the statue hasn't moved. Its stone lips still curve in that same peaceful smile. Yet somehow she knows the voice came from here, from this moment, from this sacred quiet. "Peace begins when you stop fighting with your thoughts," the voice continues, soft and sure. "You don't have to push them away or fix them or figure them all out. You just have to stop wrestling with them." Maya doesn't fully understand what this means yet, but something tight in her chest, something that's been clenched like a fist for weeks, begins to slowly, gently unfurl. She takes a deeper breath than she's taken in days. Chapter 2. The First Step. Maya closes her eyes again, hoping to hear more of that peaceful voice. As she sits quietly, breathing slowly, the strangest thing begins to happen. The grass beneath her starts to feel different, softer, warmer, like she's sitting on the most comfortable cushion in the world. The night air grows golden around her, as if someone has lit 1,000 gentle candles just out of sight. When Maya opens her eyes, she gasps. But it's a soft gasp of wonder, not fear. She's no longer sitting in her grandmother's garden. Instead, she finds herself standing on a path made of pure, gentle light. Not the harsh brightness of a flashlight, but something warm and golden like the first rays of sunrise. The path glows softly beneath her feet, stretching ahead through what looks like clouds made of the softest silver mist. "Don't be afraid," comes that same honey-warm voice, now seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "You're safe here. You're beginning a journey of understanding." Maya looks around in amazement. She's still wearing her regular clothes, her favorite jeans, and the soft purple sweater her grandmother knitted for her last Christmas. But everything else has changed. She stands in a place that feels like being inside a beautiful dream, except she's never been more awake in her life. "Where am I?" she asks aloud, surprised by how clear and strong her own voice sounds in this magical place. "You're exactly where you need to be," the voice replies gently. "And you're not alone. Every person who has ever sought peace has walked a path like this one. Some find it in temples, some in churches, some in quiet moments by the ocean. You found it by simply sitting still and listening to your heart instead of just your worried thoughts." Maya takes a few careful steps forward. The light path feels incredible under her sneakers, bouncy and soft, like walking on trampolines made of silk and starlight. Each step seems to fill her with energy instead of making her tired. Ahead of her, the misty clouds part gently, like curtains opening on a stage, revealing glimpses of wonders beyond. Rolling hills covered in flowers she's never seen before, their colors more beautiful than any rainbow. mountains that seem to touch the sky, their peaks crowned with golden light, forests that seem to glow from within, as if every tree holds its own small sun. Is this real? Maya wonders aloud. What feels more real to you right now? The voice asks with gentle curiosity. The worry and noise you left behind in your bedroom, or the peace you feel in this moment? Maya thinks about this as she continues walking. Back in her room, everything felt urgent and impossible. Her thoughts crashed into each other like bumper cars at a carnival. Her stomach stayed tied in knots. Her shoulders hunched up toward her ears like they were trying to protect her from invisible danger. But here, on this path of light, her mind feels clear as a mountain lake. Her body feels relaxed and strong. For the first time in weeks, she's not worried about tomorrow or upset about yesterday. She's simply here now, walking forward with curiosity instead of fear. Every journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, the voice continues, and you've already taken yours, brave one. You chose to sit quietly in the garden instead of staying trapped in the spinning of your thoughts. You chose to listen for wisdom instead of just listening to worry. That's much harder than it sounds, and braver than you know. The path curves gently ahead, leading toward what looks like a forest. But this isn't a dark, scary forest from fairy tales. These trees seem to shimmer with their own inner light, and Maya can hear the cheerful sound of a stream bubbling somewhere among them. As she walks, Maya notices something wonderful happening inside her. She feels curious instead of anxious. She wants to see what's around the next bend, not because she's running away from something scary, but because she's walking towards something beautiful. The tight knot of worry that lived in her stomach for so long has dissolved like sugar in warm tea. In its place, she feels a bright spark of excitement. What will she discover next? What will she learn? Remember, dear seeker, the voice whispers as Maya approaches the edge of the glowing forest. Wisdom isn't about having all the right answers. It's about learning to ask better questions. And the most important question isn't, what's wrong with me? It's, what wants to grow in me? Maya smiles as she takes another step forward on the golden path. Whatever wants to grow in her, whatever wisdom is waiting to bloom, she's ready to discover it. The forest ahead seems to welcome her with rustling leaves that sound almost like gentle applause, as if the trees themselves are celebrating her courage to begin this journey of the heart. She takes one more deep, peaceful breath and steps into the next part of her adventure, carrying the warm glow of the path with her wherever she goes. Part 2, The Forest of Worries, Chapter 3. Dark trees and racing thoughts. Maya steps off the golden path and into the forest. At first, everything feels magical and welcoming. The trees glow with their own soft inner light, just as she saw from a distance. Beams of gentle sunlight filter through the leaves, creating dancing patterns on the forest floor. The air smells sweet, like flowers and fresh rain. But as Maya walks deeper into the woods, something begins to change. The light grows a little dimmer. The trees seem taller, their branches reaching over her like worried hands. And then, Maya hears something that makes her heart skip a beat. The trees are whispering. At first, it sounds like wind rustling through leaves. But as Maya listens more carefully, she realizes the whispers are words. Her words, her worries, her fears. "What if you fail the history test tomorrow?" murmurs a tall oak tree to her left, its voice creaky and concerned. "Emma seemed upset when you said goodbye today. What if she doesn't want to be your friend anymore?" Sighs a maple tree, its red leaves trembling with anxiety. Everyone else knows what they want to be when they grow up. "Why don't you?" groans a pine tree, its needles shivering with worry. Maya stops walking. Her peaceful feeling begins to fade away like morning mist. These are her thoughts, the same worried, spinning thoughts that keep her awake at night. The same fears that make her stomach twist into knots. How did they find her here in this magical place? "You're not smart enough," whispers an ash tree. "You're not funny enough," adds a birch tree. "You'll never figure anything out," concludes a weeping willow, its long branches swaying sadly. Maya's breathing becomes quick and shallow. The warm glow she felt on the golden path starts to fade. Her shoulders creep up toward her ears again, just like they do at home when everything feels too hard. "I don't like this," she says aloud, her voice small in the whispering forest. "I came here to feel peaceful, not to hear all my worried thoughts even louder than before." But as soon as she speaks, a new tree seems to grow right in front of her. A twisted, gnarled tree with bark as rough as sandpaper. "See?" It croaks in a voice like breaking twigs. "You can't escape your worries. They follow you everywhere. You might as well stop trying to feel better and just accept that life is scary and hard." Maya feels tears prick at the corners of her eyes. Maybe the mean tree is right. Maybe this whole magical journey was just her imagination. Maybe she should go back to her bedroom and just accept that worry is all there is. But then, just as Maya is about to turn around and leave, she hears something different. A gentle rustling in the bushes nearby, softer than the worried whispers of the trees. She turns toward the sound and sees two large, dark eyes watching her from between the ferns. A deer steps gracefully into the clearing where Maya stands. This isn't just any deer. This one seems to carry its own light, a warm golden glow that makes Maya feel instantly safer. Its eyes are deep and calm, like still ponds reflecting the sky. The deer doesn't speak with words. Instead, it simply stands there, breathing slowly and steadily. Its sides rise and fall in a peaceful rhythm that seems to say, "This is how you breathe when you're not afraid. This is how you stand when you know you're safe." Maya watches the deer and notices something amazing. Even though the trees continue to whisper her worries all around them. What about the test? What about Emma? What about your future? The deer doesn't seem bothered at all. It hears the whispers, but it doesn't believe them. It doesn't argue with them either. It just exists peacefully in the middle of all that noise. "How do you do that?" Maya asks the deer softly. "How do you stay so calm when everything around you is worried and scared?" The deer tilts its elegant head toward a sound Maya hadn't noticed before, the gentle babbling of water over stones. Through the trees, she can see a small stream winding its way through the forest, sparkling in the dappled sunlight. The deer walks slowly toward the stream, looking back at Maya with those wise, calm eyes as if to say, "Come with me. I want to show you something important." Maya follows, and as they walk together, she notices that her breathing naturally begins to match the deer's steady rhythm. In and out, slow and deep. The worried whispers of the trees don't disappear, but they don't seem as loud or as urgent anymore. "Worry is like a rocking chair," comes that familiar honey-warm voice, seeming to flow from the deer itself. "It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere." As they reach the stream's edge, Maya begins to understand what the voice means. Worry keeps her mind busy, constantly moving back and forth like a rocking chair. But all that mental motion doesn't actually solve anything or take her anywhere new. It just exhausts her, and keeps her stuck in the same place. The deer settles down gracefully beside the flowing water, and Maya sits next to her new gentle friend. The stream chatters happily as it flows over smooth stones, and Maya finds herself feeling curious rather than afraid for the first time since entering the forest. Chapter 4. Learning to Let Go. Maya sits quietly beside the deer, watching the clear water flow over the smooth stones at the bottom of the stream. The worried whispers of the trees continue around them, but somehow they seem less frightening now. They're still there, but they feel more like background noise. Annoying maybe, but not dangerous. "Can you teach me your secret?" Maya asks the deer. "How do I stay peaceful like you when my thoughts get so loud and scary?" The deer turns its gentle eyes toward the water, and Maya follows its gaze. Floating on the surface of the stream are leaves, dozens of them in all different colors and shapes. Some are bright yellow like tiny suns. Others are deep red like drops of sunset. A few are brown and crinkled, while others are still green and fresh. But the most interesting thing about these leaves is that they're all moving. The stream carries them gently downstream, some floating quickly in the center current, others getting caught for a moment near the banks, before breaking free to continue their journey. "Watch the leaves," the honey-warm voice whispers, seeming to come from the deer, the water, and the air itself. "Your thoughts are like those leaves on the water." Maya looks more closely and gasps softly. Some of the leaves have writing on them, her worries written in flowing, silvery script. There's a bright yellow leaf labeled History Test, and a red one that says Emma's Feelings. A brown leaf reads, Not Being Good Enough, and a green one whispers, What will I do when I grow up? Now watch what happens when you don't try to grab them. The voice continues gently. Maya sees a leaf labeled, Math is Too Hard, floating toward her. Her first instinct is to reach out and snatch it from the water, to hold on to it, to worry about it, to try to solve it right now. But instead, she remembers the deer's peaceful breathing and just watches. The leaf floats closer, closer, and then past her, continuing downstream until it disappears around a bend in the forest. And something wonderful happens. The tight feeling in Maya's chest loosens just a tiny bit. Let go, and let the river of life carry you, the voice whispers. Excited by this discovery, Maya tries it again. A leaf reading, What if I say something stupid, comes floating toward her. This time, instead of grabbing it with her mind and spinning it around and around, she just watches it pass by. But this leaf is trickier. It gets caught behind a rock near the bank, spinning in a little whirlpool. Maya feels frustrated. She wants to reach into the water and push it along, to make her worry go away faster. Some thoughts take longer to let go, the deer seems to say without words. Its eyes patient and kind. That's okay. The water knows what it's doing. Maya takes a deep breath and waits. Sure enough, after spinning for a few moments, the current gradually works the leaf free from behind the rock. It wobbles once, then joins the flow again, floating peacefully downstream. The river always finds a way around obstacles, the voice explains. Just like your mind will always find a way to work through problems when you stop trying to force solutions and start trusting the natural flow of life. One by one, Maya practices watching her worry leaves float by. Some sail past quickly and easily. Others get stuck for a while on rocks or caught in little eddies near the bank. A few even seem to float backward for a moment before the current catches them again. Maya learns not to panic when the leaves don't behave the way she wants them to. She learns not to judge herself when some worries seem stickier than others. She just breathes like the deer taught her and trusts that the stream knows where it's going. The most amazing thing happens as Maya lets go of each worry leaf. She doesn't become careless or irresponsible. She still remembers that she has a history test tomorrow, and she still cares about her friendship with Emma. But now these feel like simple things she can handle, not impossible mountains she has to climb. Problems often solve themselves when we stop gripping them so tightly, the voice explains, as Maya watches the last of her worry leaves disappear around the bend. When you squeeze a handful of water, it slips through your fingers. When you cup your hands gently, you can drink. As the final leaf floats away, Maya notices that the worried whispers of the trees have grown much quieter. They're still there, but now they sound more like gentle background music than urgent alarms. Some of the trees even seem to be rustling their leaves in what sounds like approval, as if they're saying, "Well done, little seeker." The deer stands gracefully and stretches, then looks toward a path leading out of the forest. In the distance, Maya can see a mountain rising into white, fluffy clouds. The deer begins walking toward this new destination, and Maya knows it's time for the next part of her journey. But before she leaves, Maya takes one more look at the stream. Already new leaves have appeared on the water, fresh worries that her mind has started to create, because that's what minds do. But now Maya smiles when she sees them. She knows that worries are like leaves on a tree. There will always be more. But she also knows that streams always flow, and what she doesn't grip can't hurt her. "Thank you," she whispers to the deer, to the stream, to the forest itself. The deer's eyes sparkle with warmth as if to say, "You did all the real work, brave one. I just showed you the water that was always there, waiting for you to notice it." Together, Maya and the deer walk toward the mountain path, leaving the forest of worries behind them. But Maya carries something precious with her, the knowledge that she doesn't have to fight with her thoughts anymore. She can just let them flow like leaves on a stream, trusting that the river of her life knows exactly where it's going. Part 3. The Mountain of Patience. Chapter 5. The Steep Climb. Maya and the deer walk together along a winding path that leads away from the whispering forest. The ground beneath Maya's feet changes from soft forest earth to small pebbles, then to larger stones. The air grows cooler and fresher, carrying the scent of snow and pine trees. As they round a bend in the path, Maya stops and tilts her head all the way back. Rising in front of them is the most enormous mountain she has ever seen. It stretches so high into the sky that its peak disappears into fluffy white clouds. The sides are steep and rocky, with what looks like a narrow, zigzagging trail carved into the stone. "Oh my," Maya whispers, feeling suddenly very small. "How am I ever going to climb something that big?" Just looking at the mountain makes her feel tired. Her legs feel wobbly, and her stomach does a little flip of worry. This seems impossible, harder than her history test, harder than figuring out her friendship with Emma, harder than anything she's ever tried to do. The deer nods toward the mountain and then toward Maya, its gentle eyes seeming to say, "This is your next lesson, brave one." Then, with a soft breath that sounds almost like a blessing, the deer turns and disappears back into the forest, leaving Maya alone at the base of the impossible mountain. Maya sits down heavily on a large rock, feeling overwhelmed. "I can't do this," she says out loud. "I'm not strong enough. I'm not brave enough. This mountain is way too big for someone like me." But just as she's about to give up before she even starts, Maya hears a new sound. It's soft and rhythmic, like someone tapping very slowly on a drum. Tap, tap, tap. She looks around and sees something wonderful and surprising. An old turtle is making its way slowly up the mountain path just a few yards ahead of her. The turtle is unlike any she's ever seen. Its shell gleams with the same gentle light as the deer, and it's much larger than the turtles at the pet store. This turtle is ancient and wise, with kind eyes that sparkle like stars. "Hello there, young seeker," the turtle says in a voice like warm honey poured over toast. "Are you planning to climb this beautiful mountain too?" I don't think I can," Maya admits, feeling embarrassed. "It's so big, and I'm so small, it would take forever." The turtle stops walking and turns to look at Maya with those twinkling eyes. "Forever is a very long time indeed," the turtle says with a gentle chuckle. "But I wasn't planning to take forever. I was just planning to take one step, then rest, then take another step." "But haven't you been climbing for a really long time?" Maya asks, noticing how the turtle's shell is covered with tiny flowers and moss, as if it has been traveling for many years. "Oh yes," the turtle says cheerfully. "I've been climbing this mountain for, let me think, about 70 years now." Maya's eyes grow wide. 70 years? And you're not at the top yet? "Oh, but I've reached many tops along the way," the turtle explains, settling down comfortably on a flat stone. "You see, dear one, this mountain has thousands of little peaks and beautiful resting places. Every few steps, there's something wonderful to see. I've never been in a hurry to get to the final top because I've been having such a lovely time enjoying the journey." The turtle gestures with one wrinkled foot toward the path ahead. "Would you like to try climbing with me for a while? I promise we'll go slowly." Maya looks up at the towering mountain again. It still seems impossible, but somehow the idea of taking just one step with this kind, patient turtle doesn't seem quite as scary. "Okay," she says, standing up and brushing the dust off her jeans. "But what if I get tired? What if I can't keep up?" "Then we'll rest," the turtle says simply. "Patience is not waiting, little one. Patience is keeping a good attitude while working toward your goal." And so they begin. Maya takes one step up the rocky path, then another. The turtle moves beside her at a pace so slow it's almost like meditation. Step, rest. Step, rest. At first, Maya feels frustrated. She wants to rush ahead, to climb faster, to prove she can do it. But something magical happens when she matches her pace to the turtle's. Her breathing becomes slow and steady. Her mind grows quiet. Instead of worrying about reaching the top, she begins to notice the journey itself. There are tiny wildflowers growing between the rocks, their petals soft as silk. There are interesting patterns in the stone where ancient rivers once flowed. There are small birds that chirp cheerfully from hidden perches, as if they're cheering Maya and the turtle on. "See?" the turtle says during one of their frequent rest stops. "When you're not rushing, you notice so much more." They climb for what feels like hours, but Maya never gets tired the way she expected to. The turtle's steady pace and cheerful attitude make even the steepest parts feel manageable. When they reach a particularly challenging section, the turtle shows Maya how to find good handholds and where to place her feet safely. "Every mountain teaches us something different," the turtle explains as they navigate around a large boulder. "This one is teaching us that slow and steady isn't just a way to move, it's a way to live." Maya realizes the turtle is right. Back in her regular life, she's always rushing to finish homework, rushing to figure out her problems, rushing to grow up and have everything figured out. But here on the mountain, taking one careful step at a time, she feels more peaceful and confident than she has in months. Chapter 6. The View from Above. After what feels like a perfectly pleasant journey, Maya and the turtle reach a wide, flat ledge about halfway up the mountain. The turtle settles down with a contented sigh and pats the rock beside him. "This is one of my favorite resting spots," the turtle says. "Take a look around, dear one." Maya turns to look back the way they came, and her breath catches in her throat. The view is absolutely stunning. She can see the golden path where her journey began, winding like a ribbon of light through the landscape. The forest of worries looks small and manageable from up here, its trees swaying gently in the breeze like old friends waving hello. Beyond the forest, she can see places she hasn't visited yet. A sparkling lake that reflects the sky like a mirror, a vast desert that glimmers with hidden colors, and a garden that seems to glow with every color of the rainbow. But the most surprising thing is how different everything looks from this height. The problems that seemed so huge when she was down in the forest, the worried whispers of the trees, the spinning leaves of anxiety, now look like tiny details in a much larger, much more beautiful picture. "It's all so small," Maya says in wonder. "Exactly," the turtle nods wisely. "When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change." Maya thinks about her history test, which had seemed like such a big, scary monster when she was sitting at her desk back home. From up here, she can see it for what it really is. Just one small challenge in the grand adventure of learning and growing. She thinks about her worry that Emma might not want to be her friend anymore. From this mountain ledge, that fear looks like what it truly is. A worried thought, not a fact. Maya realizes she can simply talk to Emma tomorrow and find out what's really going on. "I feel like I can see everything so clearly from up here," Maya says. "Ah," the turtle says with a gentle smile. "But remember, young seeker, being high above doesn't mean looking down on others. It means seeing the bigger picture so you can be more helpful when you go back down." Maya nods, understanding. The height isn't making her feel superior or like her problems don't matter. Instead, it's helping her see that her problems are workable, manageable, part of a bigger story of growth and learning. "Look there," the turtle says, pointing with one ancient foot toward the base of the mountain. Maya can see other travelers just beginning their climb, some rushing anxiously up the steep slopes, others sitting discouraged at the bottom, and a few beginning the journey with steady, patient steps. "I want to help them," Maya says, surprising herself. "I want to tell them what we learned about going slow and steady." "And you will," the turtle assures her. "But first, you need to finish learning the lesson yourself. Wisdom isn't just about gaining knowledge. It's about living what you've learned until it becomes part of who you are." Maya looks out over the vast landscape spread below them and feels something she's never felt before. Not the anxious energy that usually drives her to rush through life, but a calm, steady confidence. She knows she can handle whatever comes next, not because everything will be easy, but because she now knows how to take things one step at a time. The wind on the mountain ledge is cool and fresh, carrying the scent of snow and possibility. Maya takes a deep breath and feels strong all the way down to her toes. Not strong like a superhero who never gets scared, but strong like a mountain climber who knows that every challenge can be met with patience, one step at a time. "I think I understand now," Maya says to the turtle. "It's not about rushing to the top or having everything figured out right away. It's about enjoying the climb and trusting that each step teaches me something important. The turtle's ancient eyes twinkle with pride. Now, you're learning the secret that mountains have been teaching climbers for thousands of years. The journey changes you more than reaching any destination ever could. As they sit together on the peaceful ledge, Maya feels grateful for every step of the climb. Her legs are pleasantly tired, her lungs are full of fresh mountain air, and her heart is full of quiet confidence. She realizes that patience isn't about waiting for life to happen. It's about being fully present for each moment as life unfolds. It's about trusting that slow and steady progress is still real progress. It's about finding joy in the journey itself, not just in reaching the end. "Thank you," Maya says to the turtle. "Thank you for teaching me how to climb." "You did all the real climbing, dear one," the turtle replies with a warm smile. "I just showed you that mountains are climbed one step at a time, and that every step is worth celebrating." As the sun begins to set, painting the sky in soft shades of pink and gold, Maya knows it's time to continue her journey. The turtle will stay here on his beloved ledge, but Maya carries his wisdom with her, the knowledge that patience is not passive waiting, but active, joyful participation in the gentle unfolding of life. Part 4. The Lake of Kindness. Chapter 7. Meeting the Angry Stranger. As the sun sets behind the mountain peaks, painting the sky in soft watercolors of pink and orange, Maya knows it's time to continue her journey. She waves goodbye to the wise turtle, who settles more comfortably on his favorite ledge with a contented sigh. The path down the other side of the mountain is gentler than the climb up, winding through meadows filled with evening flowers that glow softly in the twilight. Maya's steps are confident now, steady and sure like the turtle taught her. She feels the mountain's lesson of patience settle deep in her bones, not just as something she learned, but as something she has become. As she walks, the air grows warmer and softer. The rocky mountain path gives way to smooth grass, and Maya begins to hear a new sound, not the babbling of the forest stream, but something deeper and more peaceful, the gentle lapping of water against a shore. Through the evening mist, Maya sees the most beautiful lake she has ever imagined. It stretches out like a mirror made of liquid silver, reflecting the first stars beginning to twinkle in the darkening sky. The water is so still and perfect that it looks like she could walk across its surface without making a ripple. But as Maya approaches the lake's edge, she hears something that breaks the peaceful quiet. Splash, splash, splash. Someone is throwing stones into the water, hard. Maya peers through the misty air and sees a figure standing at the water's edge about 30 feet away. At first, she can't tell if it's a boy or girl, young or old, but she can see that whoever it is seems very upset. They pick up stone after stone from the beach and hurl them angrily into the lake, each throw making a harsh splash that disturbs the mirror-perfect surface. "That's not fair," the stranger shouts at the water, throwing another stone with force. "I didn't do anything wrong. Why does everyone always blame me for everything?" Splash. The stone disappears into the dark water. "I try so hard to be good, and nobody ever notices." Another stone flies through the air. "But when something goes wrong, it's always my fault." Splash. Splash. Maya feels her stomach tighten with familiar anxiety. This person seems so angry, so hurt. Back home, when people were upset like this, Maya usually tried to hide or run away. Angry people scared her. She never knew what to say or do. But then she remembers the turtle's patient voice. "One step at a time, dear one. Keep a good attitude while working toward your goal. Maya takes a slow, deep breath and thinks about what her goal is right now. She doesn't want to run away. She doesn't want to ignore someone who's clearly hurting. She wants to help, but she's not sure how. Taking another breath for courage, Maya walks slowly along the water's edge toward the stranger. As she gets closer, she can see that it's someone about her own age, with messy hair and tears streaming down their face. "Hi," Maya says softly when she's close enough to be heard without shouting. The stranger spins around, startled. For a moment, they look like they might run away or throw a stone in Maya's direction. Their eyes are red from crying and bright with anger and hurt. "What do you want?" the stranger asks, their voice defensive and shaky. Maya feels her heart beating fast. Every instinct tells her to back away, to mumble, "Sorry," and leave this angry person alone. But something else, something deeper and wiser, tells her to stay. "I heard you were upset," Maya says, settling down on a large piece of driftwood near the water's edge. "You don't have to talk to me if you don't want to, but I'm a pretty good listener if you need one." The stranger stares at Maya suspiciously. "Why would you want to listen to me? You don't even know me." "You're right," Maya says gently. "I don't know your story, but I know what it feels like when everything seems unfair and nobody understands." For a long moment, the stranger just stands there holding a smooth stone, as if deciding whether to throw it or put it down. The lake laps quietly at the shore, and somewhere in the distance, a night bird calls softly to its mate. Finally, the stranger's shoulders sag, and they sink down onto the sandy beach. "My name is River," they say quietly, "and today was the worst day of my entire life." Maya doesn't say anything. She just nods and waits, the way she's learned that good listeners do. "There was this group project at school," River continues, their voice thick with hurt. "We were supposed to work together, but everyone in my group just goofed off and didn't do their parts. So I ended up doing all the work by myself, staying up until midnight to get it finished." River picks up a handful of sand and lets it trickle through their fingers. "But when we presented it today, something went wrong with the computer, and half our presentation got deleted. Our teacher was really disappointed, and my teammates, they all blamed me. Said I should have backed everything up better. Said it was my fault we looked stupid in front of the whole class." Another stone finds its way into River's hand, but this time they don't throw it. They just turn it over and over, their fingers tracing its smooth surface. "And then when I got home, my little sister had broken my favorite mug, the one my grandmother gave me before she died. And when I got upset about it, my parents said I was being too dramatic and that it's just a thing, and I needed to be more understanding of my sister's feelings." River's voice cracks a little. "Nobody asked about my feelings. Nobody cared that I'd had a terrible day, or that the mug meant everything to me. They just told me I was wrong for being upset." Maya feels her heart ache for River. She recognizes the pain of feeling misunderstood, of trying so hard to do the right thing and having it all go wrong anyway. "That sounds really, really hard," Maya says softly. "No wonder you're upset." River looks up at Maya in surprise, as if they expected judgment or advice, not understanding. "Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about," comes that familiar honey-warm voice, seeming to whisper from the gentle waves lapping at the shore. "Be kind." Maya realizes that this is exactly what the voice means. She doesn't need to fix River's problems or tell them what they should do differently. She just needs to see them, really see their pain and acknowledge that it's real and valid. I'm sorry people blamed you for things that weren't your fault, Maya says. And I'm sorry about your grandmother's mug. That must have felt like losing a piece of her all over again. For the first time since Maya arrived, River's angry expression softens. They set the stone down gently instead of throwing it into the lake. You really do understand, River whispers. Chapter 8. The Ripples of Compassion. Maya and River sit together on the sandy shore as the stars grow brighter overhead. The lake has grown perfectly still again, its surface like dark glass reflecting the night sky. River hasn't thrown any more stones. Instead, they've been talking quietly about their day, their family, their worries about school and friendships. Maya mostly listens, offering gentle words of understanding when River pauses. She's discovered something wonderful. When you really listen to someone, not planning what you'll say next, not trying to fix their problems, just truly hearing their story, something magical happens. The angry, defensive walls around their heart begin to melt away. I've never told anyone about how much that mug meant to me, River admits, drawing patterns in the sand with a stick. Everyone always says I get too attached to things, but it still smelled like my grandmother's lavender perfume, you know? And she used to make me hot chocolate in it when I stayed at her house. That sounds like a really special memory, Maya says. It makes perfect sense that losing the mug would hurt so much. River nods, and Maya notices that their shoulders aren't hunched up defensively anymore. Their breathing has become slower and deeper, matching the gentle rhythm of the small waves against the shore. You know what's funny? River says, picking up a smooth pebble and turning it over in their hands. I came here to throw angry stones into the water because I wanted to hurt something the way I was hurting. But now, they gently toss the pebble into the lake, but this time it's not an angry throw. It's soft and thoughtful. The pebble lands with a quiet plop, and both Maya and River watch as perfect circles spread outward from where it entered the water. Ring after ring ripples across the surface, growing larger and larger until they reach the far shore. Look at that, Maya says with wonder. One little stone, but the ripples go everywhere. River throws another pebble, this one even more gently. Again, the circles spread outward, overlapping with the ripples from the first stone, creating beautiful patterns on the water's surface. It's like kindness, Maya realizes aloud. When someone is kind to you, it doesn't just affect you. It spreads out to everyone you meet afterward. River looks at Maya with new understanding. Like how you being kind to me made me feel better. And now I want to be kind to other people too? Exactly, Maya says, smiling. As if to demonstrate this truth, Maya remembers something. She reaches into the small backpack she's been carrying throughout her journey. A backpack she somehow hadn't noticed before this moment. Inside, wrapped in soft cloth, she finds a small loaf of bread that smells like home and comfort. Are you hungry? She asks River. I have some bread we could share. River's eyes light up. I haven't eaten since lunch. I was too upset to have dinner. Maya breaks the bread in half, giving River the larger piece. The bread is still warm, as if it just came from someone's loving oven. When they bite into it, it tastes better than any bread either of them has ever had. Not just because they're hungry, but because it's being shared with a friend. This is amazing, River says, taking another bite. Where did you get it? I honestly don't know, Maya laughs. I think maybe when you start a journey with an open heart, you find that you already have everything you need to help others along the way. They eat together in comfortable silence, watching the stars reflect in the still water. A gentle breeze carries the scent of night-blooming flowers from somewhere across the lake. The earlier anger and hurt that River carried seems to have dissolved completely, replaced by something warmer and lighter. "Thank you," River says suddenly. "Not just for the bread, but for seeing me, for listening, for not telling me I was wrong to feel upset." "Thank you for trusting me with your story," Maya replies. "It was brave of you to share something so personal with someone you just met." River grins, the first real smile Maya has seen from them all evening. "You know what? This started out as the worst day of my life, but this part, sitting here with you, sharing bread and watching the ripples, this might be one of the best parts of any day I've ever had." Maya feels warmth spread through her chest like liquid sunshine. This is what the honey-warm voice meant about kindness throwing out roots in all directions. By simply being present and compassionate with River, she's not only helped heal someone else's pain, she's also filled her own heart with joy. "A single act of kindness throws out roots in all directions," the gentle voice whispers across the water, and Maya can see the truth of it in the continuing ripples spreading across the lake's surface. As they finish their simple meal, both Maya and River begin to laugh. Quietly at first, then with growing delight. They're not laughing at anything in particular, just feeling the pure joy of connection, of understanding, of not being alone in the world. "I should probably start heading home soon," River says eventually, though they don't sound sad about it anymore. "Tomorrow I need to talk to my teacher about the presentation and apologize to my sister for being so upset about the mug." "That sounds like a good plan," Maya says. "And River, I have a feeling tomorrow is going to be a much better day." River stands up and brushes the sand off their clothes. "Will I see you again?" Maya considers this question. She's not entirely sure how this magical world works, but she feels confident about her answer. "I think we'll meet again whenever one of us needs a friend." That's how kindness works. It creates connections that never really disappear. They hug goodbye, and as River walks away along the moonlit path that leads back to their world, Maya watches the last ripples from their shared stones finally reach the far shore of the lake. She realizes something beautiful. Kindness isn't just about making others feel better. When you open your heart to someone else's pain and offer them the gift of being truly seen and heard, your own heart grows bigger and stronger too. The compassion you give away doesn't leave you. It multiplies, filling you up even as it flows out to touch the world. Part 5. The Desert of Acceptance. Chapter 9. The Harsh Sun. After saying goodbye to River at the peaceful lake, Maya continues along the moonlit path feeling warm and content from their shared kindness. The night air is soft against her skin, and her heart feels fuller than it has in a long time. She's learned so much already about letting go of worries, about patience, about the power of truly listening to another person's pain. But as Maya walks, the landscape around her begins to change once again. The gentle grass gives way to sandy ground. The night-blooming flowers disappear, replaced by small, prickly shrubs. The air grows warmer and drier with each step. By the time the sun rises, painting the sky in brilliant oranges and golds, Maya finds herself standing at the edge of a vast desert. Sand dunes stretch out in every direction as far as she can see, rolling like golden waves under the endless blue sky. The heat is already intense, even though the day has just begun. Maya squints against the bright sunlight and feels her heart sink a little. After the cool, peaceful lake, This harsh landscape feels like punishment. Her feet, which felt so light and sure on the mountain path, now sink into the hot sand with every step. Her mouth becomes dry, and sweat begins to gather on her forehead. "Why does it have to be so hot?" Maya grumbles aloud as she trudges forward. "And why does the sand have to be so deep? This isn't fair. The other parts of my journey were hard, but at least they were beautiful and comfortable." With each step, the complaints in Maya's mind grow louder. Her backpack feels heavier. Her legs feel tired. The sun beats down on her head, and she wishes desperately for shade, for water, for any relief from this difficult place. "I don't want to be here," she says, stopping in the middle of a particularly large sand dune. "This is too hard. I want to go back to the forest, or the mountain, or the lake, anywhere but this awful desert." But even as she complains, Maya notices something that makes her pause. Just a few feet away, growing directly out of the hot sand, is the most beautiful flower she has ever seen. It's large and bright pink, with delicate petals that seem to glow in the harsh sunlight. The flower sits at the top of a tall cactus, surrounded by sharp spines that protect it from the desert wind. "How is that possible?" Maya wonders aloud, walking closer to get a better look. The cactus flower seems to shimmer in the heat, and as Maya approaches, she hears a gentle voice. Not the honey-warm voice of her guide, but something newer, clearer, like water bubbling up from deep underground. "Hello, young traveler," the flower says. "You look troubled by our desert home." Maya blinks in surprise. After meeting a wise deer and a patient turtle and making friends with River, talking to a flower doesn't seem strange at all. "I am troubled," Maya admits. "This place is so hot and difficult. Everything was going so well on my journey, and now suddenly everything feels hard and unfair." The cactus flower nods its bright pink petals in understanding. "I know the feeling," it says gently. "When I was just a tiny bud, I used to complain about the heat too. I would wish for gentle rain and cool breezes like the flowers in other places have. I would feel sorry for myself, stuck here in this harsh place with nothing but sand and sun and scorching wind." "So what changed?" Maya asks, settling down in the small patch of shade cast by the cactus. "I realized something important," the flower explains. "I couldn't change the desert. It was always going to be hot and dry and challenging. But I could change how I felt about living here. Instead of spending all my energy wishing I was somewhere else, I learned to find ways to bloom exactly where I was planted." Maya looks more carefully at the cactus and realizes something amazing. The plant isn't just surviving in this harsh place, it's thriving. Its thick stems store water for the dry times. Its spines protect it from the desert animals. And its flower is more vibrant and beautiful than any garden flower Maya has ever seen. "Accept what you cannot change, and you'll find peace in any storm," the flower continues, its petals catching the light like stained glass. "I cannot change the heat of the sun or the scarcity of rain, but I can choose to see the sun as energy that helps me grow, and the rare rain as a precious gift to be treasured." Maya thinks about this as she wipes sweat from her forehead. She can't change the fact that this part of her journey takes place in the desert. She can't make it cooler or easier or more comfortable. But maybe she can change how she experiences it. "It's still really hot, though," Maya says, not quite ready to let go of her complaints. The cactus flower laughs, a sound like tiny silver bells in the desert breeze. "Oh yes, it certainly is. I'm not asking you to pretend the desert isn't challenging. I'm suggesting that you stop fighting against the things you cannot change and start looking for the gifts that can only be found in difficult places." "What kind of gifts?" Maya asks. "Well," the flower says thoughtfully, "in the desert, you learn to appreciate the smallest drop of water. You discover how strong you really are. You find beauty in the most unexpected places. And you develop patience and resilience that you never knew you had." Maya stands up and looks around with new eyes. The desert is still hot and challenging, but now she notices things she missed before. The way the sand creates graceful patterns in the wind. The brilliant blue of the sky, unmarked by any clouds. The way the heat creates shimmering mirages that dance like water in the distance. "I think I'm beginning to understand," Maya says. "It's not about pretending difficult things aren't difficult. It's about not making them worse by fighting against what can't be changed." "Exactly," the flower beams. "And now that you're not spending all your energy complaining about the desert, you might be surprised what else you notice." Chapter 10. Finding the Oasis. With the cactus flower's wisdom settling into her heart, Maya continues her journey across the desert sand. The sun is still hot, and her feet still sink into the dunes with each step, but something fundamental has changed. Instead of fighting against the heat, she lets it warm her. Instead of cursing the sand, she notices how it sparkles like tiny diamonds in the sunlight. Maya discovers that when she's not wasting energy on complaints, she has more strength for the actual journey. Her breathing stays calm and even. Her steps find their own steady rhythm, like the turtle taught her on the mountain. She begins to see the desert not as an enemy to be defeated, but as a teacher offering its own unique lessons. As she walks, Maya starts to notice more of the desert's hidden beauty. There are tiny lizards that scurry across the warm sand, their scales catching the light like jewels. There are interesting rock formations carved by wind and time into shapes that look like sleeping animals or ancient castles. There are even other desert plants, small, tough flowers that bloom in impossible colors against the golden landscape. "This place is actually pretty amazing," Maya says to herself, pausing to examine a cluster of bright purple wildflowers growing in the shelter of a large rock. "I was so busy being upset about the heat that I almost missed all this beauty." She continues walking, and as the sun reaches its highest point in the sky, something wonderful begins to happen. Maya starts to feel genuinely grateful for this challenging part of her journey. The desert is teaching her something the comfortable places couldn't, that she's stronger and braver than she ever imagined. "I can handle this," she realizes with growing confidence. "I can handle heat and difficulty and things not being the way I wish they were, and I can still find joy and beauty even in the hard times." Just as this thought settles into her heart, Maya crests a particularly tall sand dune and stops in absolute amazement. Spread out below her is the most beautiful oasis she could ever imagine. Palm trees with broad green fronds provide blessed shade over a pool of crystal clear water. The pool is fed by a gentle spring that bubbles up from somewhere deep underground. Around the water's edge grow soft grass and flowers in colors that seem almost too bright and cheerful to be real. "Oh my," Maya breathes, hardly believing her eyes. She half runs, half slides down the sandy slope toward the oasis. The closer she gets, the more magical it becomes. The water is so clear, she can see smooth stones on the bottom. The shade is cool and welcoming. The grass is soft as velvet under her tired feet. Maya kneels by the water's edge and cups the cool liquid in her hands. It tastes better than any water she's ever had, sweet and clean and somehow alive with energy. She drinks deeply, feeling refreshed all the way down to her toes. As she settles back against the trunk of a date palm, Maya has a startling realization. This oasis was here the whole time, she says aloud, looking back at the path she took across the desert. When I was complaining about the heat and wishing I was anywhere else, this beautiful place was waiting for me just a little further ahead. I just couldn't see it because I was so focused on what was wrong instead of trusting that something good was coming. She takes another sip of the sweet water and feels profound gratitude wash over her. Not just gratitude for finding the oasis, but gratitude for the whole journey, including the difficult parts. The desert had seemed like an obstacle, but it was actually preparing her to truly appreciate this moment of rest and refreshment. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Comes that familiar honey-warm voice, seeming to emanate from the gentle splashing of the spring. Maya looks around the oasis with new understanding. If she had found this place at the beginning of her journey, when she was still anxious and restless, she might have enjoyed it, but she wouldn't have appreciated it the way she does now. The contrast between the desert's challenges and the oasis's comfort makes every sip of water, every moment of shade, every soft breeze feel like a precious gift. I was carrying enough strength to cross the desert all along, Maya realizes, and this oasis was waiting for me all along too. I just had to stop fighting against the journey and trust that each step was leading me towards something good. She lies back on the soft grass and looks up at the palm fronds swaying gently overhead. The desert taught her that she could handle difficulty with grace, but the oasis is teaching her something equally important, that relief and beauty and restoration are also part of life's journey, especially when they're received with a grateful heart. As Maya rests in the cool shade, she feels a deep sense of peace settle over her. She's learned to accept what she cannot change, and in doing so, she's discovered that she's much stronger and more resilient than she ever knew. She's also learned that gratitude doesn't just make good times better. It transforms our relationship with difficult times too. Thank you, she whispers to the desert, to the oasis, to the cactus flower, to the whole journey that brought her to this moment of perfect contentment. A gentle breeze rustles the palm leaves in response, and Maya smiles, knowing that she carries this lesson with her now. The knowledge that acceptance and gratitude can transform any experience, and that sometimes the most difficult paths lead to the most beautiful destinations. In the peaceful shade of the oasis, with cool water and soft grass, and the promise of continued adventures ahead, Maya closes her eyes for a moment and simply breathes, grateful for everything exactly as it is. Part 6. The Garden of Giving. Chapter 11. Empty Hands, Full Heart. After resting peacefully at the oasis until the desert heat began to soften into evening, Maya feels ready to continue her journey. She fills her water bottle from the crystal spring and takes one last grateful look around the peaceful sanctuary. The palm trees seem to wave goodbye with their graceful fronds, and the sweet water continues to bubble up generously, ready to refresh the next weary traveler. Maya follows a gentle path that leads away from the oasis, through a landscape that gradually changes once again. The desert sand gives way to rich, dark soil. The scattered cacti are replaced by fruit trees and flowering bushes. The air grows cooler and carries the earthy scent of growing things. As the sun sets in brilliant shades of orange and purple, Maya finds herself approaching what looks like a large garden. But as she gets closer, she realizes something puzzling. This garden seems empty. Where she expects to see rows of vegetables and beds of flowers, there are only patches of bare earth. A few scraggly weeds grow here and there, but most of the garden plots look abandoned and forgotten. "That's strange," Maya murmurs to herself. "This soil looks so rich and good. Why isn't anything growing here?" She walks through the garden gate, which hangs slightly crooked on its hinges. The paths between the empty beds are overgrown with grass, and the whole place has an air of sadness, as if it's waiting for something that never comes. But then Maya hears a gentle humming coming from the far corner of the garden. Following the sound, she discovers an elderly man kneeling beside one of the few plots that shows any signs of care. He wears simple clothes covered in dirt, and his hands are dark with soil. His hair is silver white, and his face is deeply lined, but his eyes sparkle with the same inner light Maya has seen in all the wise beings on her journey. What surprises Maya most is that the old gardener's plot looks just as bare as all the others. He's working carefully with a small hand trowel, but there are no plants growing, no signs of a successful garden. "Hello," Maya says softly, not wanting to startle him. The old man looks up with a warm smile. "Hello, young traveler. Welcome to my garden." He gestures proudly at the empty plot in front of him. Maya looks around in confusion. "Your garden? But there's nothing growing here." The gardener chuckles. A sound like wind chimes on a gentle breeze. "Oh, but there's everything growing here. You just have to know how to look." Before Maya can ask what he means, the gardener reaches into a canvas bag beside him and pulls out a handful of seeds. They're small and brown, nothing special to look at, but he holds them in his cupped palms as if they're precious jewels. "These are my treasures," he says. "Each one contains an entire garden, flowers, vegetables, herbs that can heal, beauty that can inspire. All they need is the right conditions to reveal what they already are." "Then why don't you plant them?" Maya asks. The gardener's smile grows even warmer. "Who says I don't?" As Maya watches in amazement, the old man stands up and walks to the garden gate. A moment later, a young mother passes by with her small daughter. The little girl looks tired and fussy, and the mother seems stressed. "Excuse me," the gardener calls gently. "Would your daughter like some flower seeds to plant at home? These will grow into beautiful sunflowers that will be just her height by summer's end." The little girl's face lights up, and her mother smiles gratefully. "That's so kind of you. Are you sure?" "Absolutely certain," the gardener says, pressing several seeds into the child's small hands. "Gardens are meant to be shared." Maya watches as the little girl skips away happily, clutching her seeds, and her mother calls back, "Thank you so much." The gardener returns to Maya with that same peaceful expression. "And there," he says, "I have planted a garden." "But you gave away your seeds," Maya says, still confused. "Now you have even less for your own plot." The gardener settles back down beside his empty bed and reaches into his bag again. Maya gasps. It's still full of seeds, just as full as before he gave some away. "Here's what I've learned in my many years of gardening," the old man says, beginning to prepare the soil with gentle movements. "The more seeds I give away, the more I seem to have. The more beauty I help create in other people's lives, the more beautiful my own life becomes." Maya sits down beside him, fascinated. "How is that possible?" "Because," the gardener explains, "when you give without expecting anything back, you become part of something much larger than yourself. That little girl will plant those sunflowers, and when they bloom, she'll remember the kind stranger who believed in her ability to make something beautiful grow. Maybe she'll share seeds with her friends. Maybe she'll become a gardener herself someday, helping others create beauty. He pauses in his work to look directly at Maya. And I'll carry the joy of her happiness with me forever. Tell me, young friend, who received the greater gift? The child who got the seeds, or the old man who got to see her face light up with possibility? Maya thinks about this as she watches the gardener's weathered hands work the soil. She's tired from her long journey across the desert, and part of her just wants to rest. But a deeper part of her, a part that's been growing stronger with each lesson learned, wants to help. "Can I help you plant something?" she asks. The gardener's eyes twinkle with delight. "I was hoping you might ask, but I should warn you, I have no money to pay you, and this plot may never grow anything that you can see or touch." "That's okay," Maya says, and she realizes she truly means it. "I don't need to be paid, and I don't need to see results. I just want to help. Give without expecting anything back, and abundance will find you," comes that familiar honey-warm voice, seeming to rise from the rich soil itself. The gardener hands Maya a small trowel and some seeds. "Then let's plant a garden together." Chapter 12. The Miracle of Growth. Maya and the old gardener work side by side as the stars begin to appear in the darkening sky. Maya has never done much gardening before, but the old man is a patient teacher. He shows her how to prepare the soil, how deep to plant each seed, how to space them so they'll have room to grow. At first, Maya feels awkward with the unfamiliar tools. Her hands get dirty, and her back starts to ache from bending over. But something wonderful happens as they work together. The simple, repetitive actions become almost like meditation. Her mind grows quiet and focused. The physical tiredness she felt from her desert journey seems to melt away, replaced by a different kind of energy. The energy that comes from doing something meaningful. "You're a natural," the gardener says, as Maya carefully places seeds in the small holes she's dug. "Gardening isn't really about technique, you know. It's about love." "Love?" Maya asks, smoothing soil over the seeds with gentle hands. "Think about it," the gardener explains, planting his own row beside hers. "We're putting these tiny seeds into dark soil, covering them up completely, and then trusting that something beautiful will grow. We're giving our time and energy to something we may never see bloom. That's an act of pure love." As Maya considers this, the most extraordinary thing begins to happen. Where they've just planted seeds that should take weeks or months to sprout, tiny green shoots are beginning to push up through the soil. "That's impossible," Maya breathes, watching in wonder as the first delicate leaves unfold. "Only if you think of gardening as just a physical activity," the gardener says with a knowing smile. "But we're not just planting seeds in soil, dear one. We're planting intentions of beauty and growth. We're offering our care and attention as gifts to the world. That kind of planting has its own magic." The tiny shoots grow visibly as Maya watches, reaching toward the starlight with surprising strength. And they're not alone. All around the garden plot, other plants are beginning to emerge from places where Maya is certain they planted no seeds. "Look," Maya points in amazement. "Flowers are blooming along the garden borders. Vegetable plants are sprouting in neat rows. Fruit trees that looked bare and lifeless when she arrived are now heavy with blossoms." "How is this happening?" Maya asks. The gardener pauses in his work and looks around the transformed garden with deep satisfaction. "Because," he says, "when we give freely of ourselves, our time, our energy, our care, we awaken the generosity that already exists everywhere around us. This garden was never really empty. It was just waiting for someone to believe in it enough to plant the first seeds. Maya realizes something profound as she watches flowers open their petals to the moonlight. She expected that giving her energy to help the gardener would make her more tired. Instead, she feels more alive than she has all day. The work filled her with purpose and joy instead of depleting her. "I feel amazing," she says in wonder. "I thought I was tired, but helping you made me feel more like myself somehow." "That's because helping others is what humans are designed to do," the gardener explains, settling back to admire their work. Just like these plants are designed to grow toward the light, we're designed to grow through service. When we help others flourish, we flourish too. All around them, the garden continues to bloom and grow. The air fills with the sweet scent of night-blooming jasmine. Fireflies dance among the vegetables like tiny stars that have come down to celebrate. The sound of water begins to trickle from somewhere nearby, and Maya realizes that even the old irrigation system has somehow come back to life. "Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth," the honey-warm voice whispers from among the rustling leaves. Maya understands now what the voice means. She's not on this planet just to take up space or to get what she needs for herself. She's here to contribute something, to help the great garden of life grow more beautiful. And the amazing thing is, the more she gives, the more abundantly life gives back to her. "Will it stay like this?" Maya asks, looking around at the paradise they've helped create. "Will the garden keep growing?" The old gardener stands and brushes the soil from his hands. "As long as people remember what we remembered tonight, that giving and receiving are part of the same flow, like breathing in and breathing out. This garden will bloom every time someone offers their care without expecting a reward." As if to prove his point, they hear voices approaching the garden gate. A group of neighbors, drawn by the sudden appearance of beautiful flowers and the sweet scents drifting through the night air, are coming to see what's happened. "Oh my," Maya hears one woman say, "this old garden is alive again. How wonderful." "We should bring seeds tomorrow," says another voice, "and tools. We could help maintain this." "My grandmother used to tend a plot here," says a third person. "I'd love to honor her memory by planting again." Maya watches as the small group enters the garden, their faces full of wonder and possibility. She realizes that she and the gardener haven't just planted flowers and vegetables tonight. They've planted inspiration. Their simple act of service has awakened the desire to give and create in others too. "This is how the world becomes more beautiful," the gardener says softly, watching the neighbors explore the blooming garden with delight. One act of generosity inspires another, which inspires another, until the whole world is in bloom. Maya nods, feeling the truth of this lesson settle deep into her heart. She's learned that giving doesn't diminish you, it multiplies you. It connects you to something larger and more meaningful than your individual concerns. It transforms both the giver and the receiver, and often many people beyond them too. As the gardener waves goodbye to the excited neighbors and begins to pack up his tools, Maya realizes that she's learned one of the most important lessons of her entire journey. The secret to abundance isn't getting more for yourself, but finding ways to help others flourish. "Thank you," she says to the gardener, "for teaching me that my hands were made for planting, not just for holding on to things for myself." The old man's eyes twinkle in the starlight. "Thank you, dear one, for reminding me that the best gardens are always planted by more than one pair of hands." As Maya prepares to continue on her journey, she takes one last look around the thriving garden. Tomorrow, she knows, even more people will come to plant and tend and harvest. The giving will continue, and so will the growing, in an endless cycle of generosity that makes the whole world more beautiful. Part 7. The Return Home. Chapter 13. The Golden Path Back. As the excitement of the neighbors discovering the blooming garden settles into peaceful contentment, Maya feels something shift inside her chest. It's a gentle tugging, like a compass needle finding true north, pointing her towards something familiar and beloved. She looks up from the thriving garden beds and sees it, the same golden path of light where her journey began, but now it's glowing even brighter than before. The path winds away from the garden, leading back through all the places she's been, all the lessons she's learned, back toward the beginning that started it all. "It's time," she says softly to the old gardener, and somehow she knows this is true without anyone having to tell her. The gardener nods with understanding, his eyes twinkling with the same warmth she's come to associate with all the wise teachers on her path. "Every journey must come full circle, dear one, but you're not returning as the same person who left." Maya takes a deep breath and feels the truth of his words. She is different. Not on the outside. She still wears the same purple sweater and comfortable jeans she started with. But inside, where it matters most, she's become someone new, someone braver, someone kinder, someone who knows her own strength and worth. "Thank you," she says to the gardener, "for teaching me that I have something valuable to give." "Thank you," he replies, "for reminding me that the best gifts are always shared." Maya steps onto the golden path and immediately feels its familiar warmth beneath her feet. But this time, as she begins to walk, something magical happens. She's not walking alone. To her right, she sees the graceful deer from the forest of worries, its eyes still calm and wise, its breathing still steady and peaceful. The deer nods at Maya as if to say, "Remember, you don't have to fight with your thoughts. Just let them flow like leaves on water." To her left walks the ancient turtle from the mountain of patience, moving with that same unhurried wisdom that taught Maya the power of taking life one step at a time. Slow and steady, the turtle seems to whisper. Keep a good attitude while working toward your goals. Behind Maya, she hears the gentle laughter of River, her friend from the Lake of Kindness, and when she turns to look, River waves with a smile that holds no trace of the anger and hurt from their first meeting. "Thank you for listening," River's eyes seem to say. "Thank you for seeing me." The bright pink cactus flower from the desert floats alongside the path like a gentle spirit, its petals glowing with inner strength. Maya can almost hear its voice carried on the warm breeze. "Bloom where you're planted, dear one. Accept what you cannot change and find peace in any storm." And bringing up the rear, with dirt still under his fingernails and seeds still in his pockets, walks the generous gardener. His presence reminds Maya that she carries within herself the power to make beautiful things grow, both in her own life and in the lives of others. "You are the same person who left," comes that familiar honey-warm voice, seeming to emanate from all her spiritual companions at once. "But you see with new eyes." Maya understands now what the voice means. Her worries about the history test are still there, but they look different now, manageable, temporary, just one small part of a much larger adventure called life. Her concerns about her friendship with Emma remain, but now Maya knows how to approach them. With patience, with kindness, with the confidence that comes from really listening to people's hearts. As she walks the golden path back through all the landscapes of her journey, Maya sees them transformed by her new understanding. The forest of worries still whispers with anxious thoughts, but now Maya hears them like background music, present but not overwhelming. The mountain of patience still rises majestically toward the clouds, but now Maya knows she has the strength to climb any challenge one step at a time. The lake of kindness reflects the stars like scattered diamonds, reminding Maya that compassion creates connections that ripple outward in ways she'll never fully know. The desert stretches vast and challenging, but Maya sees its beauty now, the way it teaches resilience and reveals hidden strengths. The garden of giving blooms with abundance, showing her that generosity is not about having less, but about becoming more. "I carry all of you with me," Maya says to her spirit companions as they walk together through the gentle night. "Everything you taught me is part of who I am now." The deer, turtle, river, cactus flower, and gardener begin to fade like morning mist, but not because they're leaving her. Instead, Maya realizes they're settling deeper into her heart, becoming permanent parts of her inner wisdom. She'll never walk alone again because she carries all their teachings within her. The golden path curves gently ahead, and Maya can see a familiar sight in the distance. The old oak tree in her grandmother's garden, with its weathered Buddha statue, sitting peacefully beneath the spreading branches. The same place where her journey began, but now she approaches it with a heart full of treasures that no one can ever take away. Chapter 14, Waking Up Wise. As Maya rounds the final bend in the golden path, she sees the Buddha statue exactly as she left it, sitting peacefully beneath the old oak tree, wearing that same serene smile, surrounded by the same soft moss on its shoulders. The garden looks identical to when she first discovered it, with the same night-blooming flowers releasing their gentle fragrance into the cool air. But Maya knows that while everything looks the same on the outside, everything has changed on the inside. She settles down on the grass in front of the statue, crossing her legs in the same position she began with hours ago, or was it years ago? Time seems fluid in this magical place between sleeping and waking, between the everyday world and the realm of the heart where true learning happens. "Hello again," Maya whispers to the statue. "I'm back, but I'm different now." The stone Buddha seems to nod almost imperceptibly, and Maya could swear its gentle smile grows just a tiny bit warmer. The same honey-warm voice that guided her entire journey speaks one final time, seeming to come from the statue, from the oak tree, from the star-filled sky above, and most importantly, from deep within Maya's own heart. The real journey is not about reaching a destination, dear one. It's about becoming who you're meant to be. Maya closes her eyes and takes a deep, peaceful breath. Behind her eyelids, she can still see flashes of her incredible adventure. The golden path, the flowing stream where worries floated away like leaves, the mountain vista that showed her the bigger picture, the lake where kindness created ripples of connection, the desert where she learned her own strength, the garden where giving and receiving danced together in perfect harmony. But as she breathes slowly and deeply, these magical images begin to settle and integrate, becoming not just memories, but living wisdom woven into the fabric of who she is. When Maya opens her eyes, she's sitting in her grandmother's ordinary garden under the ordinary oak tree. The Buddha statue is just a statue again, though its smile still seems to hold infinite understanding. The night air still carries the scent of jasmine, and crickets still sing their eternal songs in the grass. Everything is exactly as it was when she first sat down, but Maya feels fundamentally transformed. The tight knot of anxiety that lived in her chest for so many weeks has completely dissolved. In its place, she feels a warm, steady confidence, not the false confidence that comes from pretending problems don't exist, but the real confidence that comes from knowing she can handle whatever life brings her way. Maya stands up slowly, brushing grass from her jeans, and realizes something wonderful. She's not worried about tomorrow's history test anymore. Not because the test has become unimportant, but because she now knows that one test, whether she passes or fails, is just one small step on a much longer, much more interesting journey of learning and growing. The Buddha statue sits peacefully beneath the oak tree, smiling its eternal smile, ready to welcome the next seeker who needs to remember that all the wisdom they're looking for already lives inside them, waiting to be discovered on the golden path that leads not away from home, but deeper into the truth of who they really are. Closing meditation, carrying the light forward. And so, dear beautiful soul, Maya's journey comes to its gentle close, but yours is just beginning. As you lie here in your comfortable bed, breathing slowly and peacefully, allow yourself to feel the same transformation that Maya experienced. You too have walked the golden path tonight. You too have learned the ancient wisdom that has been waiting patiently inside your heart. Let's take a moment to gather the precious gifts from this journey. From the forest of worries, you learned that peace begins when you stop fighting with your thoughts. Your worried thoughts are like leaves on a flowing stream. You can watch them pass by without holding on to them. You don't have to believe every anxious story your mind tells you. You can simply breathe and let them flow. From the mountain of patience, you discovered that every great climb happens one step at a time. You don't need to rush through life or have everything figured out right now. Patience is not waiting. It's keeping a good heart while moving toward your dreams. Slow and steady. One breath, one step, one moment at a time. From the lake of kindness, you remembered that everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. A single act of kindness throws out roots in all directions, creating ripples of compassion that spread far beyond what you'll ever see. Your listening heart, your gentle presence. These are gifts more precious than gold. From the desert of acceptance, you learned that you're stronger than you ever imagined. You can bloom beautifully even in challenging times. Accept what you cannot change, and you'll find peace in any storm. Gratitude turns what you have into more than enough. From the garden of giving, you discovered that giving without expecting anything back fills your life with abundance. Service to others is not a burden. It's the joy of being fully alive. The more you give, the more you become. And from the return home, you now know the deepest truth of all. The real journey is not about reaching a destination. It's about becoming who you're meant to be. And who you're meant to be is exactly who you already are. Beneath all the worry and rushing and trying so hard, you are wise. You are kind. You are patient. You are strong. You are generous. You are enough. You have always been enough. Tonight, as you drift into peaceful sleep, carry these truths with you into your dreams. Let them settle into your bones, into your breath, into the very cells of your body. When you wake tomorrow morning, you'll still be you, but you'll see with new eyes. Your challenges tomorrow will be the same challenges, but you'll meet them with the deer's peace, the turtle's patience, river's transformed heart. the cactus flower's resilience, and the gardener's generous spirit. You are not alone on your path. Maya walks with you. The Buddha's eternal smile watches over you. And deep within your own heart, a light shines that can never be extinguished. This light has been there all along, waiting for you to remember it. So breathe now, slow and deep, feeling your body sink more comfortably into your bed with each exhale. Breathe in peace, breathe out worry. Breathe in patience, breathe out rushing. Breathe in kindness, breathe out judgment. Breathe in acceptance, breathe out resistance. Breathe in gratitude, breathe out complaint. Breathe in love, breathe out fear. Your breath is your anchor. Your breath is your teacher. Your breath is always with you, always ready to bring you home to this moment, to this peace, to this wisdom that lives inside you. As your body grows heavier and more relaxed, as your thoughts become softer and quieter, know that you are perfectly safe. You are held by something larger and more loving than you can imagine. You are part of the great web of life, connected to every deer in every forest, every turtle on every mountain, every person seeking kindness by every lake. Let your breath become even softer now, even slower. You don't need to control anything. You don't need to figure anything out. You don't need to be anywhere other than exactly where you are right now, in this moment of perfect peace. The golden path is always beneath your feet. The wise teachers are always in your heart. The Buddha's smile is always lighting your way. Rest now, deeply and peacefully, knowing that when you wake, you'll carry this light forward into your beautiful life. Sweet dreams, dear one. Sweet dreams.